Yes, we got back at about 2:30 this morning, so back home, and everything is much as one would expect, including Bentley dozing in the washing basket. Hello Bentley, how you doing? All right? Okay. And obviously June's sorting things out. Got tennis on the TV just for a change, and what you're going to get is the photo trail for our last day in Sicily and travelling back. So yes, everything's got to be tidied up, much the same as it was. So I'll go into the study. Yes. And what I put on the screen is one video clip that I shot, and it was the music that I suppose was the reason. So if I tap on the right thing, not sure which one it is it that one? No, it's not that one. Bit piddly holding this. So if that's Enrico, and that is a guy that came round. Right, here we go. No, I don't want to do that.
Hey, Jake. Hey, Samantha. Hey. Hey. Ecco sta. Ah, grazie mille. Grazie. Grazie. Grazie mille. Okay.
So that was the one video clip I took. So if I can cancel that, it is quite difficult doing this, holding the phone at the same time. Come on. Right, and now I'm going to go through the pictures, the photos that were taken from the first one, and that would have been in the bed and breakfast that we stayed at the end of the holiday. It's quite difficult doing this. Right, and now I'm going to be tapping that, I think, to go through the frames. Yes, so this is having breakfast at the bed and breakfast just around the corner from Enrico and Matilda and the lads in Fleri near Sefrana, Etnia. So having breakfast. I'm going through the pictures fairly quickly. Yes, that was a lovely jasmine outside, lots of that, and June said it gave her hay fever. So looks like some messages being. Oh, that was the picture in the room, and yes. So what's this? Oh yes, that's looking around the lovely garden with its own swimming pool. And yeah, there's Etna visible from there. So just looking around. Yes, Samantha relaxing. Oh, there's a little play area. Oh yes, the hill. Can't remember the name of that one, but it's not that far away from Etna. So yes, relaxing. Probably waiting to see what's happening next. What's that? Looking at, oh, that was a type of oak tree, I think. I don't know what type. We did research it years ago. So here's the jasmine again. Yes, I think what it is, I was saying, well, it's nice to know what's going to happen next. And I think they'd arranged to meet up with Enrico. Ah, there's Enrico. And we were going to go around Catania, but because Enrico didn't have the use of the car, we're going in June's car, or the Europa car, I think it was. So June's doing the driving, but of course Enrico's doing the important job of the tour guide, of navigating. And yeah, Samantha sat in the back. So we're off now to Catania, and of course a lot of these places are places that Samantha hadn't been to before. So we're taking the road, including bits of dual carriageway and motorway, and the 50 cents euro, which is the toll. Some bits of road don't have a toll and some do. So there we go. You had that ready to go through and pay the lady there. And that worked well. I'd like to actually deal with humans occasionally. So there's the lady at the toll taking the ticket and letting us through. So now, following signs probably for the Catania, but it's a question of going to the right bit because we want to go to the old bit. And of course Enrico's doing the important thing of guiding us, and of course several tunnels to go through. So we're getting nearer, and of course we do remember I love the graffiti. There was lots of graffiti everywhere, and I think that's part of the charm of the artwork. I suspect some of it is done recently by kids. Oh, that looks like the old industrial part of Catania. And yeah, Junior's doing a good job of driving, of course. And Enrico navigating. And of course, it's not just navigating, it's knowing what spots to go to and where to park the car. Lots of sculptures. Now, that is an important landmark from the point of view that a lot of the important things are near the railway, those arches. And according to Enrico, the sea level did come up to that. That was water once upon a time, and then they built a new seawall in more recent times. But the key thing is, I remember from earlier trips that the fish market was near the railway. All makes sense, of course, if you're moving produce. But of course, the charm of it was the fact that you interacted with the guys selling the stuff. Yeah, so looks like we've gone to where we pay for some parking, and that was pretty simple. I remember going to the same spot several years ago. And of course, you've got lovely churches and things. So it looks as though we're getting close to the fish market, I think. Oh yes, elephants. Now, I thought that was when Hannibal came through, but no, apparently the Romans were bringing elephants from Africa into places like Sicily. Perhaps they found good use for them. Yeah, into the fish market now, I think, although that looks like fruit. Yes, that's fish. Or pesca. Looks like sardines to me. Yeah, so I remember the enjoyment of going through there when we'd learnt the word for let's go, or in Italian andiamo, but in Sicilian dialect for that area it's ammunini. I remember it from the word ammunition, ammunini, let's go. So looking around the fish market, yeah, look at that. That's a swordfish decorating. Yes, hello, Mr. Swordfish. Yeah, so that was cherries, chiligi, I think they're called. So it's basically going around all the market stalls, or most of them. And yeah, look at that graffiti. It was everywhere. Well, not on the top of the church, though that probably wasn't the church. So looking into that, yes, I think that was a very old thing built by, may have got it wrong, but it's maybe when the guys from North Africa came through. I don't know, probably got it wrong. Probably have to Google it up. or search it up. Perhaps Google isn't the best of search engines. So, yes. Walking through. Everywhere you go, lovely artwork. It can be official artwork or graffiti. So, more jasmine. Yes, I can't remember the name of that lovely blue flower in plant. So, at least it gives you a rough feel for Catania. Get looking through at the dome or Duomo. Oh, that's the castle. Yes, I don't think we'd... It's all within a relatively short distance of different places, but we hadn't been pointed out the castle before. At least not that I remember. We didn't go inside, but just took a look at it. Yeah, so... Oh yes, and there was a moat, or had been a moat. Of course, water is in short supply. There is. That was equal. Oh yes, Robin near a guy in armour, I think. Yes, and there Enrico standing to attention is a very military picture, of course. More graffiti. So continuing the walk. Ah yes, Caravaggio, the artist. There was an exhibition on. So I'm not quite sure what that is. So we're continuing. And we might be keeping our eye open for a place to stop and relax and perhaps have an ice cream or something. Yes. There's quite a few squares or piazzas. Ah, the elephant. Oh, that's the one I remember. Yeah, celebrating elephants coming into the country. Not just, yeah, it has been said that they row across on themselves, but no, I think they were brought across on boats. There may have been a longer route, I don't know. So that's the, whatever you call it, statue, I suppose, of an elephant. In that square. Of course, there's lovelier other bits of sculpture and artwork. So, probably thinking, where are we going to go next? So, going on through. Yes. Oh, that was some water flowing through. And, yes. So, there is some flow of water through the town there. So, there's a pigeon. Oh, Mr. Pigeon. Oh, that was a really interesting spot for me, which is where, on the edge of the fish market, basically it was like a dump, and they would throw the packaging with scraps of, waste fish there, and of course that's where the birds would come for their free lunch. So we probably caught them at the time they were packing up. And that's the place we decided to stop. Yes. And yeah, took a look at the menu and may have forced ourselves to have a drop of whatever that was. Spudmati. Ah, Etna Bianco. So, white wine. Local white wine. Let Robin taste it. Make sure it's up to standards, which are pretty high, of course. Not due to Robin, but due to where we were. Yes, and I think I had that might have been a frito misto fish. Ah, now that's the guy that appeared on the video clip and playing the accordion, but it was I think the love theme from The Godfather. Lovely bit of music. So we enjoyed that. Yeah. And then enjoyed the meal. Lovely. So that was the frito misto, the mixed fried fish, I think, if I've got it right. Yes, and I think they had pasta, I think, spaghetti. Yes, so yes, very good indeed. Calamari, octopus, I think, and spaghetti and shrimps. Is that the word? I don't know. So then we're making our way back again. The railway arches and what do we have? Yeah, it might be. Oh yes, the pigeons feeding on the rubbish before it's cleared away properly, which I'm sure it will be with time. Yes, making our way back through the arches to some of these places we hadn't visited before or didn't remember. So some lovely little squares and green areas and fountains and guys relaxing. Yeah, that's looking across past the fountains at them. The arches. Of course, a bit sad that I think I got it right when there was a bit of a revolution and the kings and queens were toppled. They cut their heads off, and it seems to be also related to what's happened with some of the statues. And I'm not sure it's that particular one, but the word vandal in English is based on a tribe that apparently went round smashing things up, but again you'd have to search it up to find out the true history. So right, making our way back. Yes, the Duomo, and probably making our way back to, yeah, they're selling ice creams and things. Oh yes, parking. So we're going back to the car, and so leaving there, June driving, done a brilliant job and very interesting to say the least, driving with probably Italy generally and certainly Sicily. It was not just what the norm is for cars, it was things like motorbikes and scooters and things like that. So now, yes, making our way to wherever we're going next, and I think the next place was Acireale, which is just along the coast from Catania. Yeah, past that ancient industrial area. Yeah, so a few of those chimneys have been there for a while. And I recall their first holiday in Sicily, whenever that was, 16, 17 years ago, something like that. I remember visiting Acireale and obviously being shown the place by Enrico Matilda. Yeah, so that's where they decided to park the car. So now walking around the town, I think. And what do we have next? Yeah, lovely squares. And what's next? Looking at places we might sit and relax. Probably for... We'd had our lunch, and that was the place, El Grado, I think, bar. Yeah, El Grado. And yeah, as always, lovely, friendly place. And a little swing chair that Robin checked out. But it prefers those plastic seats, they're a bit more comfortable. Yes, and it was an ice cream or gelato. Yeah, and looks like back to the car. Yeah, Jude driving off again. Yes, a bit frightening really. But yes. Well, of course, that's what you expect if you go through the middle of the city at the equivalent of 60 miles an hour. Which, no, didn't do that. Wouldn't do that, would she? Yeah, past examples of graffiti. So we're now back at the bed and breakfast in Fleury. Yes, check out the room. And then next place is going to be going off to, yeah, we're there, just around the corner, 6 minutes walk to Enrico, Matilda and the boys, and of course the doggies. So those are the two guard dogs in their old place opposite. Yes. And you find them easily on Google. I just went on Google Maps and said Enrico Mirabella, and up came their office business. Yes, and that is, I suppose you'll call him a pet dog. Very young. I think they're not much more than a couple of years old. Yes, and there's all of us there. I'll probably get the names wrong, but that's June. I think that's Giorgio, Matilda, Enrico, and Samantha. Yes, and Nico, I think, but I might. He's got a young friend, and I can't remember the name. That's their back garden. Well, just the visible high bit. It drops away to a wild area, and it's some years since we went round there. Oh, and the various fruit that Enrico was pointing out. Now, I'm pretty sure those are lemons. You can't really miss that. Yes, and you're not supposed to eat them like that. And so that's an unusual looking one, isn't it? Apparently it was I think an insect of some time had got to it when it was very young. And Matilda's pointing out other plants, and yeah, I think that looks like Giorgio around there. So we're going through a process of noticing lovely flowers on plants, but they were mostly fruits, and Enrico was doing the obvious of searching the image that he'd taken to recognise what the fruit was. And for whatever that is, you have to translate it, I guess. And there's that wasn't an avocado, I think, because that's what I thought it was, and it wasn't. It was something else. So that's what we're doing, because I say, oh, what's lovely flowers on that tree, and Enrico would point it out that they're all trees that will yield fruit of some kind. Yeah, so that's whatever that is, Punica protopunica. Yes, and that's Ferruccio, who spent some time with us over in Sunninghill quite a few years ago. And yes, having a coffee, proper Italian espresso. Yes. And Ferruccio's motorbike. Yes, he's allowed to have it indoors. Yeah. So, yeah. So there's Ferruccio with a motorbike. So it looks like we're leaving. Yeah, June driving. Samantha keeping an eye on the road. And we're probably, I'm guessing, going directly to the airport. But can't be sure. Trying to remember. Checking it through the toll system. Pretty simple, really. And we'll soon see where we're going. I suspect it's, yes, past Etna. I say past Etna, I mean it's visible for miles. When we're down in the south of it, Sicily, many years ago, it was very clear and you could see it. So coming through, yeah, paying the lady the necessary amount. I think it was 50 cents. And making our way, yes, through some tunnels. And the signs will probably say we're making our way to the airport. Yes, Catania Airport. Because the first thing we've got to do is, we've got to fill up the car. And that was pretty straightforward. So, Jim fills up the car before she returns it. Yes, and it wasn't much either. Whatever that was, 43 euros or something. Yeah, so go through that process. And we get in. Yes, that's. Yeah, got a bit confused at one point. But. Oh, that was. Yes, inside the place. There were several competing companies. So the place probably when years ago, not that many years ago, when we'd picked up a hire car from there, and typically I think it was €1 per car, although it might have been Hertz on other occasions. And now I don't know, I've lost count of the number of places, and so we said, hopefully I found the right place now for returning the car. And that's the time. I look at the watch every now and again, so we've got a record of how long we were at various stages. So unloading our luggage. So the car is apparently handed over and no problems in terms of damage or anything. I took those photographs as a record just in case there was some claim saying, you put a scratch on it. And yeah, then taking our luggage for the check-in at the airport. And of course what June noticed, there was hardly anywhere to sit because they'd gone through the same modernisation in Catania, which isn't always a good thing, as we've seen at Gatwick in recent years. And in order to, I assume, I'm speculating here, to make as much money for the airport, they say, all that space that had been seating for people waiting for things, we could sell off or rent off to people who want to operate a business there, selling stuff to stupid tourists. But there's grumpy old man speaking. So then we went through the checkout, and security thing wasn't too bad. Yes, so that was okay. And not sure where we are. That looks, no, not on the plane, surely. Well, yes. So that's the plane we were on, an Airbus. Not quite as big as the one before, that's the time. And of course a message came through to say, the Gatwick had not granted a slot. Well, if I may have misused it, but it was along the lines of perhaps British Airways hadn't paid enough money for a landing slot at a conveniently short time. So they said there'd be a delay on the flight. So there's a lot of time hanging around. Yeah, June amused herself playing video games, of course. Boring. And yes, so whatever time that was, bit blurred. So it looks as though we're taking off. Yes. And yeah, I have a bit of a doze. Not very much. And Samantha did as well. So it was, I can't remember now what time we took off, but it was later than what was expected. And of course it's a 3-hour flight and they made good time. So this is probably arriving at Gatwick. Would that be right? Yeah, it sounds probably 25 to... that I would have changed my watch by then to English time. Yeah, so... Right, so we've got to go through the process at Gatwick. And we're back home. That's the pussycat. Toadie. Yes. So we're back home. And that's the end of the photo trail. Or for today, when we got back. So... not much different here. I noticed the pond was low and topped that up. And I also adjusted the... there's Toadie. Hello, Toadie. You keeping an eye on things in case anything appears. You're hoping something's going to come there. Well, that's the ring camera. But rather than go on about that, I adjusted its position so it now covers not only all round there, but right round to the camper. Anyhow, that's enough of that. So, you're going to say bye-bye? No, I don't think you would. No, okay. Hello. So, back in. And that's the end of the photo trail.